Hey everybody, my name is Lukas Schwegenik, and today we're going to talk about why nothing matters. Yay, fun topic! But in all honesty, it is actually a really good thing. It is a really good thing that nothing matters. And that's kind of a point of view that I think I talked about previously, but I just want to, reiterate and maybe get a slightly different take on in this video. So, I've talked recently about this idea of you are already going to change somebody's life. Right? Just because you're alive, you're going to affect someone's life in a way that is going to change it for the positive. And for most people, making an impact on the world, changing the world, adding something positive, that's kind of their point to life. A lot of people agree with that's one big of the possible purposes of life. And if that is also your purpose, to leave an impact, to make a difference, whatever, you already did that. Like, that's a check mark. You're done with that. You did that by just existing, by just being alive. And I know that's not quite what you meant maybe with leaving an impact or making a difference, but you changed a world. You may not have changed the world, it's a pretty big ask, but you changed the world for someone. And so your purpose is kind of done, kind of fulfilled. If we're talking about a purely evolutionary standpoint, it's just by the fact that you're staying alive, maybe trying to reproduce, that you're fulfilling the purpose of life, which is to sustain life and create more life. So you already did that too. Now, we're not going to talk about the other possibilities like religion, purposes, or destiny. Although destiny you're also kind of already creating by default, because if you have a destiny, then it's likely that you're living towards that destiny, especially if someone gave you that destiny. Because if someone didn't give you that destiny, or give you that destiny without the intention of you completing it, then why? And then do you have free will? And then is it really destiny if it's not a thing that you have to do? So you're kind of completing that too. If you didn't follow along with that just now, that's fine. The point is, you're done. You've completed your purpose. There's no more point to life. So, what do you want to do now? I mean, you're done. What's next? What do you do? What do you want? You don't have to do anything anymore. So, what do you choose to do? This is a question that I ask many clients when it comes to terms of money. Right? What would they do once they've reached their financial goals? Let's say they make the $100 million that they want. Okay? Done. Now what? Well, I want to travel, I want to see the world, I want to experience things. Cool, awesome. Imagine you did all that. Might take you a few years to do, but eventually you'll be done with that. Check mark? What now? What do you do? Many people, when they really explore this question, will realize that they don't know what to do. They don't know what they want because they never considered. They just kind of blocked that out by the fact that they kept working and kept grinding and kept going for another goal and yet another goal and yet another goal, so that they wouldn't have to think about this. Because it's a little scary. Right? You're suddenly out there in the void with nothing left to do. You might have experienced this when you've read a really intense book, or when you just finished watching a really intense movie, or finished a TV show that lasted for many seasons, where you're then just like, what do I do now? That was kind of what I did. Where do I go from here? And that same feeling, exponentially increased by the fact that it now covers all of life, is what we want to recreate. Because when we do, we realize that we can do whatever we want. And that forces the question of what do I want? If nothing that I need to do, life becomes a matter of choice. It becomes a matter of desire. It becomes a matter of doing whatever you choose to do, which can be whatever you want to do. Because it doesn't really matter in the end. You already did your purpose, so go have fun. But what is that? People that are retired think about this a lot. People that reach financial freedom think about this a lot. Even people that finished those long series TV shows think about this a lot. Right? What do I do next? And this is why work, hobbies, habits are important, because they give you like an anchor to hold on to, but also why it's important to think about this so that you have a path in front of you, that you have a goal so that you have an excuse to go on a path and on a journey. Because it's that part, it's that working towards something that makes us feel fulfilled. The TV show that you watched, it wasn't the end of the entire show that you were working towards. You enjoyed the experience of every season along the way, of every highlight, of every low, of the whole experience. Same thing will happen when you reach financial freedom or when you reach retirement. It's not that reaching point that you enjoy, but it's the point of working towards it. Now, given a little bit of a grain of salt with that, because a lot of people work in jobs they hate and things like that. So take that argument out for right now, because what we're concerned more about is with what do you want and what do you choose to do when you don't have to do anything. Not what you're forced to do or what you think you're forced to do. That's a whole different conversation to have. But the point I'm really trying to make here in this video is that you don't have to do anything. Which leads you to number two, you get to do whatever you choose to do. Because there's no point to anything, you don't have to do anything. And then that begets the main point, which is the question of what do you want? Now, not all the things that you want you can do right now, but then that makes it a goal and something to work towards, which then gives you another excuse to go on another journey. It's more about making the right choice in goals so that you go on a worthwhile journey and not on some journey that you'll regret. Money, for example, is sometimes, but rarely, a good goal to have. Not because the goal itself sucks, but because a lot of people choose a really shitty journey there. Right? They grind in shitty jobs, they hate themselves, they hate their lives, they sacrifice their family, relationships, and things they don't want to eventually reach that goal. That's a pretty shitty journey that goal of money is not going to compensate you for in the slightest. Yeah, it'll feel great to be financially free for about a month, maybe a year. But eventually it'll get boring, it'll get stale, it won't be as exciting and fulfilling and freeing as you think it will. And that's coming from experience talking to a lot of people that have reached this financial freedom and it still are not really happy. Their lives are less stressful, right? They're freer, but that does not equal happiness, joy, fulfillment. Gives you maybe more chances, but doesn't equal it. So the question is, what would be a worthwhile journey? So if you maybe said that you wanted to make a difference in the world, and for that you need a certain amount of money, and for that you need to do a job that makes money in equivalent amounts to giving something to the world, that might create a pretty interesting journey. But if money is the only goal and you're going to sacrifice everything else for it, probably not the way to go. And similarly to other goals. If your goal is to get fit, like to get really buff, and for that you have to struggle through salad after salad after salad and diet after diet after diet and hate yourself for it, maybe that's not the goal you should have. Maybe that's not the goal you want. Maybe that's not the journey you want to take. For some people that's exciting and not that big of a deal. But for you it might be. Maybe it's just not worth it. In which case the question is, why do you do it? Because remember, you don't have to. You already fulfilled your purpose. You already did everything you needed to do in your life. You're done. Destiny fulfilled, check mark, you're good. So why do you keep subjecting yourselves to, or why do you keep subjecting yourself to things that you don't want? Why do you keep going on paths that don't excite you, that don't make you feel free, that you don't enjoy? When you don't have to. And yes, there are people that want to stay alive, and for that they have to work and have to make money. But does that mean you have to make it in the way you are? Does that mean you have to struggle through this? For what? What's the end goal? Pay your bills? Okay, what are you paying your bills for? Stay alive? Okay, why here? Why in this country? Why in this way? Why with this job? Why did you choose all of these parts when you didn't have to? Or rather, even if you did have to, why do you continue to do it and not look for a better option? Because you don't have to stay here. Take responsibility for your path a little bit. Take responsibility to find the things that you want to do. Because you're free. There's nothing that forced you to live life this way. You did your purpose, you did your bigger picture, universal law, destiny, whatever. All of that is done. And what you are subjecting yourself right now are purposes and laws and points and beliefs that stand lower than that. But you already fulfilled the higher thing. So question those lower purposes, those lower destinies, those lower drives. And question them in terms of what you want to do. Maybe take a little bit of responsibility for the freedom that you have to live your life the way you want, and start working towards that a little bit more, rather than a life that you never wanted to live. Because in the end, it doesn't matter one way or the other. Life, the universe, nothing cares how you live your life. If you struggle through it or are super happy, you're still gonna die one day. It won't matter to anybody else. But it will matter to you, to your experience, to you remembering your life on your deathbed, to your fulfillment. Because you may only have this one life. Maybe. Who knows? But are you really going to take the chance? What I want you to do right now is just to sit down and think about this. Think about this idea that you don't have to do anything. And ask yourself, what would you want to do if you didn't have to do anything? Where would you like to go? And then what? What once that is done? What do you want to do next? And what after that? And after that? And after that? The more seriously you take that self-inquiry, the more likely it is that you'll find an answer that eventually, after a couple of other temporary answers, you'll find a kind of permanent one, something that you want to do long-term, something that you think will bring you a lot of joy for a while. Maybe that's learning an instrument, or enjoying time with friends, or giving something to the community, being charitable, whatever. That is the thing you should chase. That is the thing that you should make your goal, so that is the journey you go on. Because that's the journey that will make you feel fulfilled. That's your new destiny, your new purpose, if you will, your self-chosen path. And that'll make you a lot happier than anything else you're doing. But to reach that, you actually have to sit down and think about it. It's not going to come on its own. So consider it. Take a while to think about it. And hopefully you'll come across an answer pretty soon. If not, then keep thinking about this day after day, maybe for just 5 minutes. And I guarantee you, within the year, you're going to find an answer. But take the inquiry a bit seriously. I'd love it if you commented what you found, if you're willing to share. And if this video helped you, please like it and subscribe to see more videos like this. It will really help me out. And I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day.